After completing my assignment with the UNDP, I will come back to the Ministry of the Environment of South Korea. When people think about the environment and the UN, most people just think UNEP. UNEP means UN Environmental Program. But UNEP also do many things in the field of environment. For example, our office is, I think, the more than 80% of our jobs about the environment. Especially you can see the UNDP has six signature solutions, including the poverty and equality, governance, gender, and then the environmental and energy. And then we have 25 country offices in Asia Pacific regions, and then covering the total 36 countries. And then we are focused on the country and regional level programs. Main difference between the UNEP and UNEP. UNEP is focused on the regulation and the agreement and something, but we are focusing on the implementation of the project. And with Korea, the UNDP implemented some cooperative project of the Korea and the UNDP in fields of the air, water, waste, and nature. For example, the international integrated water resources management in the Mekong River, and the clean air for blue sky Asia, and the municipal waste management and the resource recovery in Sri Lanka. The second one is clean air for blue sky Asia. We call it the CAPSA. Each including 6 countries, including Mongolia, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Indonesia, Vietnam. Now I would like to begin discussing South Korea's approach to protecting endangered wildlife. My presentation is divided into 2 parts: conservation and the restoration. Let me start with the conservation. In South Korea, the conservation of wildlife by the 2 main laws. First one is the Wildlife Protection and Management Act, which focused on protecting wildlife and maintain ecological balance. It introduced the protect of the specific habitats and the development of management, the point for endangered species, and the prohibition of wildlife capture and trade. Another one is act on the conservation of reduced biodiversity. This one is aimed to protect biodiversity and promote the sustainable use of the biological resources. According to the DG law, South Korea has developed a comprehensive plan and strategy. Two of them is shown on the slide. And then one is comprehensive plan for the conservation of the indigenous wildlife. This one is the 10 years plan. And the other is National Biodiversity Strategy, which is this one is 5 years. Long plan strategy I mentioned are implemented by the Ministry of the Environment, and then a key institution that plays a practical role in the ground, which is this organization, National Institute of Ecology. It's located in the Suncheon. It's a little far from the Seoul. As affiliated to organization under the Ministry of Environment, this organization carry out practical function in wildlife conservation, the research, education, and exhibition. You can see the portal of the bottom line. The institute, this one. institution has the accommodation facilities for your reference. You can visit and you can stay here and then you can participate in the education program and then see the many things in the exhibition. And then as of 2023, total 60,010 wildlife species has been identified in our country, South Korea, including the total 282 endangered species. First, in terms of the regulation, legal protection, the species listed on the CITES Convention are protected, and the capture and consumption by humans are protected. And the exports imports require official permissions. On the right side, in addition, the species is considered harmful wildlife, endangered alien species, or those that may pose negative impact on ecosystems are subject to the special development. Next is the designation history for the 282 endangered wildlife species. This one is designated by the Ministry of Environment. Ministry of Environment protected species that experience a serious pollution decline and risk of such decline. The bottom. Additionally, the chapter, the number of protected species steadily increased since the current criteria were established in the 2005. The 28 two endangered wildlife species are classified into the two groups, class 1 and class 2, based on the criteria shown the slide. And then the pictures are some. The Korean government is making a scientific approach to conserve endangered wildlife through activities such as distribution survey. First is conducting national wild species distribution survey, those more detailed assessment of observed species. And build a comprehensive database. This is just serve as a foundation for population quantitative analysis and modeling, and for utilizing data in the policy making. In addition, the government focuses on the collecting data for the habitat management and the selecting of restoration target area. And then finally, in order to respond to climate change, various efforts are being made to strengthen linkage with research on the conservation habitats for endangered wildlife. To conserve the habitats of the endangered wildlife, South Korea undertake activities such as the designation of special wildlife protection area, the conservation and restoration of ecological corridor, and the habitat management and research. Among the images under the bottom of the slide, from the left, the first image shows the designation of the protected area in part of South Korea, the Jinyang Lake for the water conservation. And the second image illustrates the national ecological network and the regional conservation strategies. And the third shows the model distribution of the IES2025, and the last one is present project of potential habitat safety. Recently, as the climate change is accelerating the movement of the wildlife, accelerating predicting habitat shift through the modeling has becoming important. So far, I covered the reservation approach. Now, I'm going to talk about the restoration. Let me explain some of the core strategies for the restoration of the endangered wildlife. First, we are applying the various strategies depending on the characteristics of each target species. This includes the development of technologies to secure source population. We also advancing the customized breeding technique to suit the biological needs of such each species and conducting research to improving the environmental adaptability and helping animals survive and once they are released into the river. And then next is comes the page of the natural release, which is followed by monitoring and scientific research through this process. As shown in the table of the slide, the total of 64 species has been selected for the restoration. Slide a little bit. Among them, 25 is designated as pre-RP species, and then the right side is 39 classifies other species. Let me show some specific example of restoration efforts for key species. First one is Asiatic black bear. Korean people just call it Andago. Since 2004, a total of 51 individuals have been released into the wild. As of now, the population increased to 79 bears, including the 18 released and the 61 naturally born. This shows that the natural reproduction is successfully taking place in the wild. Next is red fox. Since 2012, a total of the 148 individuals has been released into the wild. Currently, the population consists of 74 individuals, 56 released, and then the 18 naturally. Finally, the long-tailed borer. In this case, the restoration approach involved estimating the population size and establishing long-term restoration plans and managing the habitats. One of the major achievements has been the expansion of long-tailed borer ecological corridor, and which help ensure habitat connectivity and support the species long-term survival. This one is the sad story about the restoration of the Bandargon project. This one is published in the Korea newspaper June 2023. I give about 1 minute to read this. This one is article of the Joseon newspaper. English. This story carries some important meanings in the restoration. First one, it shows that after restoration, the animals are actively moving beyond their restoration areas. One is that. And the second is it highlights the fact restorated the animals can potentially pose a threat to the humans. And the third is it also demonstrated how much effort Korean government is putting into the restoration of the endangered species. Another important part of the restoration is exercise conservation. That is conserving species out of their natural habitats. Korea has designated specific exercise conservation facilities in order to carry out systemic conservation and propagation of wildlife. They cannot be effective preserved in the wild. 저희를 물론이가 the South Korea is and the key institution in the Korea restoration effort is this institution. The name is the Endangered Species Restoration Center, which operates under the National Institute of Ecology. This center is located in the Yongyang County, and its central role in the restoration process around this location. This organization's main functions can be broadly categorized in the 5 main areas. First one is identification of the new habitats suitable for restoration. Second is the introduction and the propagation of source population for the endangered species. And third, breeding and release of those source population to wild and forced hatchery of the egg and acclimatization training. And the last is operating a wildlife hospital. Let me now explain each of these functions a little more detail. The first key function is the identification of new habitats. These involve the discovering and verifying areas where endangered species are either newly found or have the potential to survive in the wildlife. For example, the left side, the Musan wizards were discovered in the Munsan counties, and then the Gangneung city, and then in the middle, the Channae are found in the Sinam counties. These discovered essentially in the guiding our restoration strategies and ensuring the species are introduced suitable and sustainable environment. Second key function is the introduction of the propagation of the source populations. This involves reintroducing the endangered species into their native habitats and then cultivating them in controlled environment to support future restorations. Some examples you can see. The reintroduction of the swan tree growth in each original habitat in the swan city, and then the trial transportation of the Neophynetia rear orchard in the Singa County, Additionally, in the Quebec City, we are conducting artificial coordination of the branch. These efforts, the foundation for establishing health breeding population. The third key function is the propagation of released source populations. This process involves breeding dangerous species and releasing them into the wild habitats. Representative example is the golden frog restoration project in such account. The process beginning with the collecting of protecting of eggs, followed by the rearing of the tadpoles, and then release them to the sub-adult stage. Once they are physically ready and their survival chance is high, they are released into the wildlife at the final stages. This step-by-step approach to improve survival rates and help re-establish the sustainable population in the age. Fourth key function is the artificial hatchery, pollination, training, and then the release. A good example is the restoration of the black-based spoonbill in Incheon City. The project begins with artificial hatching of egg in the safe and control from left side, step by step. And then this is followed by the artificial rearing, where the chicks raised under closest supervision. Once they reach the stable stage, they undergo formation training, and finally they are released into the wild Incheon, their original breeding habitat. This comprehensive process ensures a higher survival rate and successful reintegration into the final key function is the operation of the wildlife hospital. This facility plays a critical role in the treatment, rehabilitation, and recovery of the injured and sick wildlife, especially endangered species that are found in distress in the wild when the animal is rescued. Let me conclude by the outline by our future direction and task for the endangered wildlife restoration. First stage, we will pursue phased and customized restoration for the priority species. This includes enhancing the animal adaptability to the natural environment and support their stable settlement in the wildlife. Second, we aim to establish stable habitat environments. This involves the conservation and restoration of the ecological corridor as well as improving the overall habitat protection. Finally, building public consensus and support is essential. To achieve this, we are operating a National Conservation Week, continue to expanding online and offline outreach to education programs to raise awareness and engagement. Public participation. So far, I have briefly introduced South Korea approach in the conservation and the restoration of the indigenous wildlife. This is just introduce our policy, but the thing I wanna talk with you today, these two issues. Nowadays, these two issues is a little hot in our country, because we have to decide. There are two issues. The first one is I think all of you know about this. Nowadays, climate change is very increasing the CDMs. So some people say we are now entering the era of climate disaster. So in response to climate change, many countries are rapidly expanding the solar and the wind power facilities to increase the use of renewable energy. However, these development uh, negatively impact wildlife habitats and endangered animals. Some people say such development, solar panel and the wind farms are essential for the survival humanity, not the endangered animal. But otherwise, emphasis is the protecting the wildlife remain the crucial despite the urgent of the climate action. So, this question is how you find the balance between these two perspectives, and then what do you think which one is the right approach? And then the second issue related to what I shared in the Usami case. You already read the Usami case, the Vandalgon bear. Restored animal, sometimes, not always. The pose a threat to the human, which lead some people to voice opposition to the restoration project. Because restored animals impact some negative impact to human. So how can you create a future for human and the animal coexist? Do you believe we should continue to expand the population of animal, even species like a bear, will potentially harm the human? I told you that these two issues nowadays are very hard issues in the field of the conservation and restoration of endangered wildlife in our countries. And then especially the first one, we have to make some decision which one is top priority of our policy. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. And then after finishing, so if you have some opinion, these two issues, just feel free to tell me. Thank you.